Bukayo Saka might have a double game week coming up, but he's pretty expensive. He's often injured, and it's time to sell. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are good. These are my transfer plans for game week 25. Lots happening in FPL right now, and we've got moves to make. So without further ado, let's have a quick look how I got on in game week 24. We still have Monday Night Football, and I do have some skin in the game there. Most don't, right? Not many have in their 11 a Sunderland or Burnley player, but Mukiele there will hopefully, will improve my green arrow. So a good game week with 68 points, 470k, as always in FPL, rather than noticing all the good stuff that happened. Enzo's return, Bruno captain win, Ekatike 13 points. You're there ruin the missed chances, right? Maguire, 2 points. Well, 80 minutes on the clock and he's on for a 10-pointer. He's on 2 bonus, he's on clean sheet, DEFCON, and he ends up getting a yellow card, conceding the penalty, losing his bonus. O'Reilly looked so comfortable in the first half, on for a clean sheet, wasn't to be. But look, cannot complain. A good game week, double Arsenal defence coming in big. And that's something we need to discuss when we're talking about Saka replacements. Should we be looking at triple Arsenal defence? They are clear the best defence in the league. Or do we swap Saka for an Arsenal attacker? Elsewhere, my transfers this week, I mean, it didn't really go to plan. Maguire and Rodgers. I sold Soboslai, who got a good return. Long term, I think Rodgers will be good. Villa were disappointing. And then let's just talk about the good. Bruno Fernandes, captaincy. It's what we know. He gets returns. He gets bonus points. Enzo Fernandez, a late goal, yes, but he always felt like he could get you a goal, and Chelsea attack does look good. And then Ekatike, the guy I've been saying for weeks, stop selling Ekatike. I'm glad he finally came in big time. 13 points, and now everyone will start buying him again, but he was very heavily sold last week. The form has been there, and that's a lesson to be learned in FPL. Don't always just chase last week points and go by the points and go, Ekatike's been getting 2 pointers, he must have been rubbish. No. If you've been watching the games, if you've looked at the data, you'll know Ekatike's been getting chances. He's looked sharp. He's been scoring goals in the Champions League, and FPL points will always come in. And 13 points against Newcastle, those that were patient on him were absolutely rewarded. So let's have a look at some key talking points of the game week to come in game week 25. And you know where I'm going here, right? By the way, before we do that, I'd love you to hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, but please like, it helps support the channel. And you can hype. I would love to get a bit of a thunderclap hype moment. And we talked about it in my deadline stream and on the Sunday DB from the live. Apparently, you can only hype on the videos, not the lives, and it's to those on mobile. So click the hype button. Let's just see what happens, shall we? All right. Decisions to make for me. I've got no money in the bank. I've got 1 free transfers. I've been using transfers every week. 3 weeks ago, I used 1 to bring in Enzo. 2 weeks ago, I used 1 to bring in Bruno. This week, I used 2 to bring in Rodgers and Maguire. But of course, Saka, we need to discuss him as a priority. Before we discuss Saka, where are the other fires? That long term, do I want O'Reilly and Virgil? Maybe not. But I don't see them as necessarily like players I have to get rid of. Long term, do I want Mark Guiu and Lewis Miley? Probably not. I probably want to start improving my bench a bit. That's always sub 2, sub 3, Lewis Miley and Mark Guiu. But maybe I can reshuffle funds to get a slightly stronger bench if I need it. Although it's worth noting, you very rarely rely on your second sub. And my first sub's usually quite good. It's a Mukiele, it's an O'Reilly, it'll be a Maguire. So fairly happy with the structure, happy how things are going. It's been green arrow after green arrow recently. But there does seem to be one player we have to sell, whether he's injured or not, guys. You're paying around 10 million for a player that isn't delivering like a premium. And when we look at Saka, what did Arteta say? And now this is a manager that's just not going to tell us much. He said Saka had a little niggle in the warm-up. He wasn't comfortable to start the game, so immediately we made the decision to change him and bring Noni in. There's a video clip of the incident. It looks like a muscle injury. If it's a muscle injury, he could be out for a couple of weeks. But of course, Arteta's going to tell us it's a niggle. Worth noting in the comments here, Afe said Calafiori was a little niggle and was away for a month. Arteta, tell us the truth. And this is a prime example of what Arteta does. You can almost guarantee it. On Tuesday night, Arsenal do play and they play Chelsea, right? Arteta's going to say, let's assume he's not in the squad. Arteta's going to say, oh, we'll see. We'll see later in the week if he can train. And then the training ground photos all week will not include a picture of Saka. And he'll tell the Arsenal media team, do not upload any photos if Saka's in the background or Saka's in the foreground. Let's assume he trains. If he doesn't train, we won't know that. And then the press conference on Friday will come along ahead of Gameweek 25, and Arteta will say, we'll see, we'll see. He is the worst manager for FPL insight. And fair play, if I was a manager, I'd do what Arteta does. Why give the opposition an edge? But long story short, we're not going to know if Saka's available in 25. And if we don't know, we probably need to sell. And we should assume he's probably not, right? It's a precious Arsenal spot. Arsenal have the fixtures. Arsenal play Sunderland at home. We want an Arsenal attacker for that fixture. It's a prime fixture. Sunderland, good at home, but Sunderland on the road, pretty rubbish. Then it's probably a double game week. And let's just remember this with Saka, right? If you've been under a rock for the last few days, the Premier League have provisionally announced a double for Arsenal in 26, as long as they beat Chelsea. If Chelsea qualify for the EFL Cup final, they'll get the double. But it's very likely Arsenal, who are 1 goal advantage from the first leg, it's very likely they'll knock Chelsea out. They'll get to the final and they will have a double game week in 26. We need triple Arsenal. And if you can't carry Saka in that because you think he's injured, you've got to go elsewhere and you've got to get to triple Arsenal. So if we're buying replacements, you don't have to go to an Arsenal midfielder. It would be Declan Rice if you did. You could go to Semenyo, you could go to Bruno. These are the top point scorers so far. I'm not interested in Bruno G or Wilson, and I've got Enzo and Rodgers, but we're going to talk about some of these key assets. Now, before we do, one player that many will go to, let's just talk about the key that's not on this list, is Bryan Mbeumo. So let's talk about the Saka replacements that I like for my team. Now, Bryan Mbeumo did blank against Fulham, and I'm glad he did because he was one of the most transferred in players of the game week. Under Carrick, he has looked good. Like, you're seeing good minutes there. He got 90 versus Fulham. The 22 and 23 came off early for Cunha, but now Cunha's in the 11. It's Cunha coming off for Sesko, and it does feel like if you want to supplement Bruno, Mbeumo's the next best thing. I think Ahmad's brilliant for value, but if money's not an issue and you're selling Saka, you can go to Bryan Mbeumo, who will spend a lot of the game, and we have to remember this, he'll spend a lot of the game playing as the number 9. Now, when Sesko comes on and you know, that sure, it changes a little bit, but yeah, Mbeumo playing 9, what we've seen from Carrick so far is we're very likely going to see lots of goals. I think that's fair to say under United. They're going to score goals. And if they're going to score goals, we want players like Mbeumo, who's effectively out of position on half set pieces in our team. So look, that's one option. That's one option. And he'll be popular, Mbeumo. Definitely a tempter for me. 20% owned, 8.4 million. And fortunately blanked versus Fulham. Scores against Fulham and the ownership shoots up. This is a way of getting him when he's still quite lowly owned. I'll give my conclusion at the end of this video where I think I'll land. Antoine Semenyo, the guy we keep ignoring, keeps performing. He's nailed. He's absolutely nailed. He played on the left versus Spurs, probably better for him because Doku's injured. He can play on the right, and he scored against Wolves when playing on the right. But on the left-hand side, he also got the goal versus Spurs. Not playing in the Champions League has helped his minutes, but I think he's guaranteed to play 90 at the minute or close to 90 anyway. Against Spurs, he did. I cropped this at the 69th minute. 48% owned, and he kills your rank every time you don't have him. He really does kill your rank when you don't have him because he is scoring goals. And if we all have Haaland and we're all captaining Haaland quite often, you don't gain an edge when City score goals. We're not interested in Foden. Reinders has been and gone. Cherky still feels too risky. Doku's injured. If you want to go for double attack, the answer is Semenyo and Haaland. Clear as day. Clear as day. So a real tempter there for me to bring Semenyo in. It's Liverpool away next. Obviously, that's a tough entry point. But Liverpool haven't been the best defensively. But then you get homes versus Fulham and Newcastle, and I quite like those home fixtures. I really expect Man City to dominate Fulham and Newcastle at home, and then it's away to Leeds and at home to Forest. Like, if your entry point is 26, you get 3 home games. And if anyone's watched Man City under Pep Guardiola, you'll know it's all about the home fixtures. Night and day, really. Like, the best attack in the league by some distance at home. They're like a top 6 attack away from home. And you'll get Fulham, Newcastle, Forest at home, Leeds away if your entry point is 26. Yeah, we like that Semenyo very much. I considered buying him this week and I went Rodgers. I was really close to Semenyo at one point. Let's talk about Arsenal midfielders. We need to talk about Declan Rice. Of course we do. And that's the obvious one, I think, for many that own Saka. But I also want to talk about a guy that a lot are speaking about on social media, Noni Madueke. Oh, if Saka's out, by Noni Madueke. Guys, I hate that idea. I hate that idea. If Saka's out, he's probably only out for a few weeks. So what does that mean to Madueke? Oh, he starts a couple of games and then you've got to sell him straight away because Saka's back in the team. If Saka's out, everyone assumes Madueke is going to get all Saka's points, which doesn't work like that. Yes, he'll play high and wide. Yes, he'll take some of the set pieces, the in-swinging corners on his left foot, just like Saka does. But against Leeds, yes, he got the points, 13 points. But the most crucial bit of information for me is with Saka out and a really good performance, he still got hooked at 60 minutes. The most important information here is the minutes. Guys, Saka would have to be out for months or a month minimum, like over a month, for me to consider buying Noni Madueke. He is a transfer out waiting to happen. And even if he does start the game, Saka's injured for, and we don't know how long Saka will be injured for, so we can't judge that. He ain't going to be getting 90. I don't think he's had a 90 all season. Honestly, you look at Madueke's starts this season, I'll give you his starts and I'll read out his minutes. 60, 56, 66, 60, 45, 78, 88, 63. An 88 and a 78 are his two best, but the vast majority are 60-minute subs. Not played 90. Remember that. Don't waste a transfer bringing him in and then a transfer bringing him out. If you want an Arsenal midfielder and you want to go double Arsenal attack, it's a very, very simple solution. And it's Declan Rice. Now, if you own Saka, there's a very good chance you don't own Rice, okay? 32% owned. He's been so good. It's unbelievable like how good Rice has been. I keep looking at Rice going, how have I not got him in my team? I've been looking for an excuse. If you've been watching these videos, you'll know to make the switch from Saka to Rice. This feels so obvious. I love the Sunderland at home fixture. Brentford away, Tottenham away, but the fixtures are good long term. Chelsea, Brighton, Everton, I think it's Wolves after that. It's just a long-term set and forget. And crucially, a bit like Mbeumo, he's been blanking of late. And I like the fact he's been blanking. He's not been in my team, and it means fewer people are going to buy him now. 4 consecutive game weeks without return for Rice. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's not like he's just going to not start, getting goals and assists. He takes the best corner in the league. He's brilliant on free kicks. He's going to start getting assists and goals again. Of course he is. He's not been getting the DEFCON, which is why it's a blank. He needs 12 for DEFCON. In his last 5 games, his DEFCON reads 9, just missed out, 10, just missed out, 11, just missed out, 9, close again, and a 14. He's only had it once in 5 games, Declan Rice. But before that, he was getting DEFCON like 70% of the time, 60% of the time. And I think that will continue. Declan Rice will be getting returns very soon. And in a double game week, I could genuinely captain him. So remember, when we look at these fixtures, it's Sunderland, it's Brentford. But that Brentford 26 is very likely to be a Wolves fixture in there as well. It's very likely to be Brentford away, Wolves away, if Arsenal beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup or reach the final. Having triple Arsenal is key, isn't it? So, where do we go? What are we thinking? I'm thinking this is a really big dilemma for Arsenal with Saka. If you're selling Saka to a non-Arsenal player in 25, you only have double Arsenal for Sunderland at home. Not ideal. But it does allow you, if you want to get to triple Arsenal defence, it does allow that. And triple Arsenal defence for a double game week could be fun as well. So there's a huge amount riding on what Arsenal do this week. The bits of information we need and why you should not be making any early transfers. We need to know first and foremost, do Arsenal knock Chelsea out? Do Arsenal reach the EFL Cup final? They're very likely to. Tuesday night, we'll know the answer. 10 p.m. Tuesday night, we'll know the answer. If they do, you need triple Arsenal in your team, and you might as well get triple Arsenal for Sunderland at home, and then the week after you get the double game week. So one bit of information we need to know, do Arsenal reach the EFL Cup final? If they do, you need triple Arsenal. If they don't, you can sell Saka to a non-Arsenal player or not have a plan. You could just go double Arsenal. It's fine. The second bit of information we need to know is Saka out? I don't think we're going to know the answer for that. And unless we see that he's trained or we hear he's fit, I think we assume he's probably missing a week. And regardless, even if he's fit, this is an excuse to trade in someone that's been dead weight, effectively, for a lot of teams. Like, he's not been pulling up trees. He's not produced enough points for a 10 million asset. They're the 2 bits of information we need. If Chelsea go and beat Arsenal, we don't need triple Arsenal. If Arsenal beat Chelsea, we need triple Arsenal. And then the big decision is, do you want an Arsenal attacker or do you want to go triple Arsenal defence? The differential play right now is triple Arsenal defence. You don't really benefit when Arsenal keep a clean sheet if everyone's on the double up. If you're on the triple up, you'll benefit. And do we see Arsenal keeping clean sheets in these fixtures? Yeah, of course they will. They're the best defence in the league. They'll keep loads of clean sheets. I'm really tempted to look at the triple up, but I'm also very tempted on Declan Rice. If I go down the Rice route, this will be, well, I'll show you how I'd set up. This would be how I'd set up if I go down the Rice route. Rice would come in. I'd have 2.4 million to spend. What am I going to do with 2.4 million? Well, probably quite a lot. Like, I can buy a forward then. I can think about maybe trading in a Mark Guiu. Like, I could go and buy, well, whoever, I'd have 6.6 to spend. It's an option. I can maybe look to boost one of my defenders, or I can maybe boost Lewis Miley. Places to go. You can always do with good things with the cash. 2.4 million, Rice to Saka. Doesn't feel like a downgrade. Remember, when we looked at total points earlier, Rice has more total points by Saka by some distance. I think it's around 20 off the top of my head. So look, this is what I'm thinking I'll do. I'm not sure what I do. I have to see what Arsenal do. I have to learn more about Saka. I am tempted on the triple up. Remember, Virgil van Dijk, Nico O'Reilly. I don't want either long term. If I traded one of them for Timber, could be fun. And then Saka could go to, say, an Mbeumo or a Semenyo. It's a real tempter. As things stand, this is how my team looks with Saka benched. I don't see a world in which I hold on to Saka unless I see he's fit. And if he's fit, he's in my starting 11. But look with him on my bench. Look how weak that 11 looks. It's not ideal. I've got Virgil and O'Reilly playing each other. It's not ideal. I'm having to start a Lewis Miley, who we don't even know if he'll get the minutes. I've got to make a decision. My team does not look great this week. Let's talk captaincy and then a conclusion on the transfer I think I'll make. Guys, I went Bruno over Haaland in game week 24. It paid off. I think I'm going to do the same again. I like the fixture for Bruno, Tottenham at home. I love the fact Bruno never has midweek football. I love the fact Bruno's playing number 10. And I love the fact Man United now, they look like a team. They look like a real team that's going to score 2-3 goals a game. And if they're scoring 2-3 goals a game, you'll always have involvements from Bruno Fernandes. I'm pretty sure he's my captain. The other options, you might consider a Chelsea player Wolves away if you own a Palmer or an Enzo. Not for me. Chelsea's still I think I don't have the same trust with Chelsea at the moment. And again, the midweek football could hurt them. Haaland away at Liverpool. It's not a bad fixture for Haaland because Liverpool's defence hasn't been great, but they can step up to that occasion against Haaland and co. And again, Haaland, they drew. He got 1 assist and no goals against Spurs. Not great. They're not showing the best of form, Man City. It was only a couple of weeks ago they lost to Man United, remember? It's Bruno Fernandes captain for me, and I'm pretty set on that. Where I think I make my transfer, I don't think I go triple Arsenal defence. I think I'll probably go Rice. If I go triple Arsenal defence, it will be for the double game week. But let's see what Tuesday night brings. Guys, please hit that subscribe button if you're not already subbed. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. Drop a comment if you've got a question. And I'll see you for another video very, very soon. Bye-bye.